Hi. So remember how I got laid off? That seems like the perfect time to go to New York City for a week, right? Right? That's totally the responsible, wise thing to do when you don't know where your future income is going to come from. But it's okay because I needed it. Listen, I'm incredibly lucky to have an amazing community here on the West Coast and also on the East Coast. So know that when you see me just hopping on a plane and flying almost 3,000 miles, it's due to the generosity of community offering me free places to stay. It's not coming from a loaded bank account. I am rich in connections and community and generosity. As some of you know, I was just in New York in September and I had an amazing time. You guys saw me talk about that trip and the shows I got to see on that trip in this video somewhere around my face. And I had such a good time on that trip that I was like, I want to go back again. And my dear sweet friend Cassie and I were talking, and she has a dear sweet friend, Miss Stephanie Stiles, who at the time was just announced that she was going to be partaking in Urinetown at the city center. And I have a dear sweet friend, small world, Mr. Jordan Fisher, who was also doing Urinetown at the city center. So Cassie and I, two girls on the West Coast who love New York, we're going, should we, I think we should go. And so that's what we did. So that brings us to this video here today, where I will be recapping my New York trip with you, predominantly just talking about all the shows that I saw. This is the show lineup that I will be telling you all of my thoughts and feelings about today. Maybe Happy Ending, which I absolutely cannot wait to talk about. Sunset Boulevard, which was absolutely unreal. The Outsiders, because, listen, had to see it again. Love that show. I literally love that show so much. And of course, Urinetown. That's a wild lineup, so let's get to it. With Maybe Happy Ending, I was told to go into it as blind as possible. And I had seen enough hype about the show online that I was like, I think I really need to try and see this show. I'm also trying to enter a season of life where I ask for things that I want and see what happens. Trying to give myself a little bit of like rejection therapy. But because honestly, when people are like, the worst thing they can say is no, I'm like, yeah, that sucks. But I knew I really wanted to see the show. So I messaged Maybe Happy Ending and I talked about a collaboration. And I am blown away that they said yes. I was like, wow, really? You're going to let me come see the show? Like, what? What? It's a bit reminiscent of my last New York recap video. Anyway, I don't know why that felt so confusing to say, where I got invited to see Gatsby on Broadway in September. And I went and I saw it, and it was so much fun. And one of the biggest things about that experience that was so special to me was that that was the first time I had ever been gifted tickets to a Broadway show from the Broadway show itself. Like, that was like next level. And so the fact that that has happened again with Maybe Happy Ending felt incredibly, incredibly special. That preface aside, so like, yes, technically I was given these tickets for free. Guys, that is not influencing my opinion on this show whatsoever. Maybe Happy Ending is one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen on Broadway. Sincerely, wholeheartedly. I'm actually going to read my Instagram review of this show because I meant every single word. Maybe Happy Ending is a true love story. Maybe even the most wholly encompassing musical about love I've ever seen. Love is many things and has many different seasons. To see a show explore the depths of the love life cycle so beautifully and uniquely left me in a puddle of tears. Boy, did it. This is truly a show that you leave feeling grateful for any love that has entered or exited your life. And hopefully you leave with an open heart, maybe a little mended. The impact and heart of the show aside, it is visually stunning, and there's a moment where the set changes that absolutely took my breath away and continued the tears. I mean every word of that. Maybe Happy Ending is a beautiful musical about love. It is so beautifully done. It is such a unique show. It is thrilling to see an original piece on Broadway that is so moving and so beautiful and so well done. Just start to finish, it is so well done. And guess what? No intermission. It's beautiful. It is so concise and succinct, but doesn't feel rushed by any means. It is a beautiful, beautiful, exciting piece of theater. Darren Criss is amazing. Helen is incredible. I love, 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 love her. She is incredible in this show. It's a small but mighty cast, and they do a brilliant job. Everyone, literally everyone. I would recommend going into this show pretty blindly, but I will share a little bit of a pitch with you. It is a musical set in the future where helper bots, robot servants essentially, came and went as the norm. So we are seeing helper bots no longer have a place in society, and we are seeing and meeting and loving these two helper bots, different versions, different generations, you'll get it, both cope with the fact that they are no longer needed in society. I think I'm gonna leave it at that. It's one of those beautiful, beautiful stories that tackles so many layers of life in like 2 lines. All of a sudden, you'll get such an incredible message that'll really make you process things in your life, but like they do it so quickly and efficiently that it's like, whoa, what this is like. It's just such a powerful piece of theater. You should see the show just for the heart and the story alone. However, it definitely doesn't hurt that it has some of the most beautiful direction that I've seen on Broadway. The set is so creative. The visual aspects of this show I fell in love with. Like I said, I didn't want to hint at too much, but I'm going to put a brief spoiler warning right here. I will put the time code when I'm done talking about this. I'll make it quick. Don't worry. Don't feel too left out. But for anyone who has seen Maybe Happy Ending, okay, spoiler starts now. This is the time you can jump to. Okay, I'm really just giving, but like, because please do not, there's such a beautiful payoff for this moment. So like, please do not listen to me say this before you see the show, please. The Fireflies, when they finally get there and the stage changes to reveal the band and the set, I want to cry. I don't know the last thing I saw that was so... Am I actually gonna cry again? I don't know the last thing I saw that was actually that like beautifully impactful and like for, oh my gosh, for a set change. I'm okay, it's fine. When the stage opens up and the band is in the center and they're in the forest and all the fireflies are going around, just the whole firefly sequence is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen on a Broadway stage. Cassie and I were like grabbing each other, just sobbing. I feel so bad. There were some girls sitting next to me and there were some girlies in the front. I feel like it was both of their like second time seeing the show because kind of everyone kept looking at us, not like being like, oh my gosh, these girls, but kind of like, yeah, we get it. This is that moment in the show. You know when you're like crying too loudly and you're like trying to really make it stop, but so you have to go like that was me during this whole sequence. I was just like, that scene is one of the most beautiful things ever. And it is definitely underlined by your own fear of Claire's journey and Oliver's journey. The stakes feel so high for this beautiful moment because you still don't know what's going to happen with Claire's journey or Oliver's journey. There might be a chance that I am misremembering the moment that happens because please correct me if I'm wrong. It was also overwhelming. The Fireflies happen before he goes and learns that, why can I not remember his name? Marcus Choi's character. Before he realizes that like his owner has passed away, right? The Fireflies are before that? Because then after they do the Fireflies, he's like, okay, I'm gonna go. I don't remember. I have to be honest, I don't remember. I've only seen it once and the cast album isn't out yet. So that's how it felt to me. I felt the underlying tension of like, we still don't really know what happens with these characters. And I think that really heightens that moment. It is just so beautiful. And then of course, guys, the Fireflies at the end. When you realize that Oliver didn't erase all of his memories. Like, are you kidding me? And I thought the fireflies at the very end were just like some of the most beautiful symbols, specifically because obviously how it ends is she resets herself in her memory. He doesn't, so that they can keep living in that little loop. And at the very end, the fireflies, how do I do this? I'm gonna project and hopefully you can hear me if I keep the mic down here. At the very end, with the fireflies being on stage together, and then one stays on the stage and then the other floats over the audience and goes away. I took that as the most beautiful symbolism of someone staying in the love story, of Oliver staying on stage and staying in the story. And like, is that the most beautiful way to move on? No, but it's incredibly sweet and we've all been there. He's decided to keep himself in the story and she is leaving it. There's so many ways that you can interpret that and what it means. Definitely saw that moment as when love ends and one person decides to stay in it for one reason or another, to still try and put puzzle pieces together to figure it out. Closure. It's the whole like, still at the restaurant, still, like literally right where you left me is that firefly is so right where you left me coded, in my opinion. And then the other one is moving on. Such a beautiful show. I felt incredibly healed by this show. Again, like I said, it really makes you appreciate any love that has entered or exited your life in so many ways, in so many different versions of relationships. And really, I think just one of the main themes is driven home by Dez's Why Love song. Why do we love? Knowing that it can end at any point, knowing that it can look like so many different things. It's so moving because I think deep down we all know that putting yourself out there, risking getting hurt, risking being disappointed is worth the risk of love. I've seen people talk about it as if it's like a Pixar movie on Broadway, and that feels right. Go see Maybe Happy Ending, please. Go, 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 go. If you can, go. When the cast album comes out, stream it. Like, please support the show as much as you can, because like I absolutely adore it and it needs to be on Broadway for a long time. I love when I think I'm only going to talk about a show for like 3 minutes and then it's that long. Okay, well, actually, here's one I may not talk that long about. That sounded shady and I didn't mean that. Sunset Boulevard, headline Boulevard. Okay, Sunset Boulevard. Here's the thing. I really, really did enjoy all of the performances I saw on the show. It was a thrilling show. People have done this meme about like, is a guy walking, through a theater with a camera and then out onto the street for a moment and then back into the theater, like all that exciting? Yes, it is. It actually is. Sitting in that theater when that part in act 2 is happening, I was like, this is so exciting. Like he came back in the theater and I was like, oh my God, there he is. Like, I don't know why, but it felt so exciting. I want to cushion my opinion about the show with the fact that I wasn't that familiar with what Sunset Boulevard was about. I knew that it was about an older actress who's kind of beyond her time being in a really unhealthy relationship with this like young up and coming writer. I knew that it was about like old Hollywood in that way and an unhealthy relationship. This show is dark. The direction definitely supports that feeling. It is such exciting direction. I thought it was so innovative. There are some aspects of the show on the technical side. I've never seen anything like it. I have never seen anything like Sunset Boulevard, and that is exciting, and I will always hold space for that on Broadway. I just don't think this is my show. The story itself is really dark, and it's really sad. I struggled to find redeeming qualities in Norma other than you kind of pity her. I don't know if she's supposed to have any. I'd be curious to see a different like fully staged version of this show and see how she would feel there. She is ultimately a villain in this show. Tom's character. What is Tom's character? Tom is brilliant. Nicole also, again, wow, I forgot to say, I saw Nicole, and Nicole is absolutely brilliant in the show. This was one of the most raw performances I've ever seen in my entire life. One of the most grounded, tapped in, voice open to the gods. She is giving everything to this role, and that is brilliant, and I can absolutely admire that. I felt like I was witnessing a once in a lifetime performance, and I think I did. That was unreal. And Tom is brilliant in this show. Tom is absolutely brilliant. I'm thrilled that I got to see his performance as well. Both of them together were just unreal. Tom is a star. Tom is absolutely a star. I thought he was much older than he was. I think he's only like 25 or 26, which is incredible because the way that he can command a stage, his stage presence, I was like, oh, he must be, you know, in his 30s and so trained and well experienced. Like, this is a stellar performance from him. Obviously, it's directed by Mr. Jamie Lloyd, I believe is his last name. And so it has a very stark and dark staging. It was some very unique direction and lighting design, and that was really, again, exciting to see. I am not really on the same level of people that are like, oh, I've seen it 5 times. I don't think I could see this show again. It was brilliant, but it's so dark, it's so heavy. I definitely support people seeing it. I think there were just definitely some themes in it that really were uncomfortable. And I understand that art can be uncomfortable and impactful, and that's good and dandy. But it was a hard show for me. Norma's character was a little hard for me. Again, it was brilliantly done, but it's a dark show. I don't even think that that's a critique. I just think that that's kind of more of my reasoning as to why I didn't leave it going like, I'm in love with that show. I was in love with all the performances, absolutely. For those of you who aren't aware, there are a lot of moments in the show where there is a completely visible cameraman on stage getting close-ups of some of the actors, and that felt really exciting because you don't get that in a theater often because theaters are big and they're down there on a stage, and you don't get to read their facial expressions as you do in film and TV. I really did like a lot of the deadpan directing of the cast. It was very unsettling, but I thought it was effective and impactful for the tone they were trying to set. So absolutely, like, all in all, I think this is a very successful show. I think it's doing exactly what it wants to be doing, and the people in it are brilliant. Yeah, I think those are all my Sunset Boulevard takes. Brilliant. I'm so glad I got to see Tom and Nicole in these roles, but not a show that I necessarily see myself returning to. Do you know a show that I do see myself returning to, or did return to? Is it obvious? Tulsa, 1967. Yeah, I saw The Outsiders again, okay? I knew I wanted to go back and see this show because the first time I saw it, it was so brilliant and I had so much fun and I had an incredible time that I was like, well, I feel like I should go again. And I'm so glad I did. The amount of small world things that are starting to happen to me just within the New York community is quite beautiful, quite karmically fulfilling. All of it. It's so good. It just feels so affirming, and let's get into it, shall we? The Outsiders Part 2. One of the reasons why I knew I wanted to see the show again if I ever went back is because I wanted to see Jason as Soda.
Soda pop, soda pop, soda pop, soda pop. Daryl, 2-bit, 2-bit. Cherry.
When I saw The Outsiders for the first time, I got to see Dan Barry's Soda, which I loved and was so enjoyable. And I was like, I want to see Jason in this role. Like, I have obviously seen him perform his own music now and loved that. So, like, I feel like I need to see this performance. And it's literally incredible. I'm so thrilled to say that Jason was on when I saw it. I got to see Trevor go on for Pony Boy, and that was really exciting because I had never seen Trevor's pony before. I saw Mr. Josh Strobel back in September. I love Josh. I am absolutely a member of that fan club. I absolutely adored Josh's performance. And the fun thing about seeing other people go on in roles is to see like what they bring to it. So I was excited to see Trevor. I got to see Brent as Daryl, who is just one of my favorite performances recently. I have to be so honest. Brent's voice is unreal. That runs in the family, that throwing in the towel. His voice is just so like satisfying to me, and he just does a brilliant job. I've never seen a man cry like that on a stage before. Holy cow. Talk about a dropped-in performance. That is a dropped-in performance. I got to see Jason as Soda, which is just unreal. That's just one of those like performer meets roles where it's like, this is perfect, actually. This is perfect. His voice, out of this world. His charm, his charisma on stage, out of this world. He's so hard to not watch the whole time. He's one of those performers for sure. Jason's Soda Pop is worth like doing whatever you can to see. It's truly, truly just an unreal performance. And when Jason and Brent sing Throwing in the Towel together, and you can quote me. You can quote me on that. It's a brilliant, brilliant, tender performance that is, I think any middle child can also relate to. Got to see Mr. Sky as Johnny Cade. I got to see him in September. Sky, I adore. That voice, that is a tender and like raw performance that just really like speaks directly to your heartstrings. Speaking directly to my heartstrings, I told Sky that I was coming to the show. Sky had the audacity to look at me and deliver like so many moments straight to me. I didn't know what to do with myself. I did not know what to do with myself. No matter how many times someone on stage like looks at me, I feel like I immediately like turn into a little puddle, and then like also a 12-year-old girl where I'm just like, I think I literally did this. It was the moment when he first comes out as Johnny Cade and like sits on the tire. Literally, it was like spotlight. He's like, that right there is my friend Johnny Cade. And the light comes up. This is how it felt to me. I also might be fucking delusional, but this is how it felt to me. If you're me, he sits down. It's dark. The lights come up on him. He goes, this town, it only holds you down. There's judgment everywhere. And these people think they know you by the way you wear your hair. If you're not born into my... And then goes into put it straight to me. I also don't know if I got like any of those words right or melody, but it's fine. That whole time I was like... And listen, I know I did this to myself. I sat like second row, shout out to a credit card, and I DM'd everyone that, you know, I'm mutuals with on Instagram and was like, hey, I'm gonna be cheering for you. So yeah, like Sky knew I was coming, Jason knew I was coming, and there was a moment, Grease got a hold, Jason, you better dance. You better dance. He's just out there. Like, Grease Got a Hold is such a fun number. It's crazy. Now, do you guys want to know a crazy Small World thing? So in this show, Mr. Tofa, Daryl Tofa, I probably didn't need to say all three, but there, was on for Dally. Oh my gosh. Dallas Winston. I don't know why I forgot his name for a second. And that was really, really fun to see. Because in my brain, Daryl is like so 2-bit. He was such a joy to see. I saw him as 2-bit in September. Watching that man dance was so fun. When he's doing it, when he's in it, it's just like, he's so exciting to watch. It's just like, yeah, you were born to dance. It was fun to see him as Dally. It was obviously a very different character, but so that was really fun. But guess what that meant? I had a new friend on for 2-bit. So in a crazy, cannot emphasize enough, crazy turn of Small World events, Mr. Henry was on for 2-bit. Henry is someone I met summer of 2023 in a little production of West Side Story. So the fact that the worlds collided to where I'm sitting in this theater getting ready to watch The Outsiders, and I'm going through Instagram and I see on his story, not only is he the fight captain for The Outsiders, but he's on for 2-bit that night. I was like, oh my God, I like DM'd him and I was like, oh my God, Crazy Small World, I'm here. I'm like second row. You will hear me cheering. Like I will be cheering for you. And that was so fun to get to see him. Like sometimes the universe is so kind. It's so kind. Love that. And I live for these moments. It's one of those, like, what are all of the things that had to happen in order for like this reality to be playing out? Those are the moments that make life exciting. And so he absolutely crushed it as 2-Bit. He's an incredible dancer and he absolutely killed it. Trevor's incredible. Trevor has such a lovely voice. He brings his own like swagger to Pony, which was really fun to see. And again, his voice is gorgeous. His voice is gorgeous. Needless to say, I enjoyed the show and I am incredibly blessed and thrilled to say that I then got to go backstage. I got to say hi to Josh. Josh, I adore you. Josh Strobel, sweetheart of a man, brilliant performer. Again, he was my first pony boy back in September and he was brilliant. He hit this single tear. I'll never stop talking about it. He hit this single tear at the end of Great Expectations that made me just go like, whoa. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So I got to say hi to him and that was so fun. And then Henry gave me a tour of the building and that was so fun and so cool. And guys, I am trying to bully Henry into posting more content about what he does in this building as fight captain. It's so exciting. He's so talented. There's so much about what goes into making a Broadway show that I really know that audiences want to see. Follow Henry on Instagram. Bully him into making a like day in the life of being the fight captain at The Outsiders vlog or something because I think he should do it. And peer pressure works. So this is his Instagram. You can tell him I sent you. And Henry, if you're watching this, like now you have to do it. That was just such a fun experience that like I'm so grateful for. And there are always moments like this where I'm still pinching myself and I'm like never going to let the 12-year-old theater kid in me think that these experiences are just like, I'm just in a building, like it's fine, it's not that big of a deal. No matter how many times I've stood on the Gershwin stage at Wicked, I'm like and that's not going to change. Whatever theater experience I'm having, like that's not going to change. When I went to see The Outsiders in September, I had such a sweet stage door experience when I met Josh and he was like, wait, I know who you are. I love your videos. And I was like, you're literally lying to me right now. Like, how fun is it that because of what I put out in the world, like the guy that I just saw absolutely crush this Broadway show just recognized me at the stage door. Like, that's just a fun universe thing. To then return to this show, have this experience, just be so blessed to be witnessing all of these incredible performances, and then to get to do a little backstage tour, say hi to people, and then to get to exit the stage door and like the second I walk out, have someone go, Samantha? Oh my gosh, I love your videos. Guys, I literally stage doored The Outsiders. Like that, I even just saying that out loud, I'm like, what? What do you mean? It was so sweet. It was so sweet. To everyone who said hi at the stage door, like you literally made my night. You made my week and trip and months and maybe year already. You guys were all so like precious. This is also just a general PSA. If you see me at a show, absolutely say hi. Please, please, please say hi. I know it feels awkward and strange because like it's the internet, but absolutely say hi. That's also a lovely segue to Urinetown because boy, oh boy, did I meet a lot of you lovely people at Urinetown. Like, guys, I have to take a moment to say that I finally met like one of my truest day one fans, Katie. Katie, hi. She's been like a day one fan of mine and supporter for 8 years. That was just an incredible moment. I love that it felt like just like my whole fan base was in this building. It was just so fun to like have the chance to go see Jordan in this new show. Urinetown was completely new for me. I had never experienced the show before, didn't know anything about it. The fact that my time in the lobby turned into a little meet and greet was actually like so fun. And guess what? All of you were sweet. All of you were so kind. But let's talk about the show. Let's talk about Urinetown. What a hoot. That's a hoot and a half. Brilliant performances all around. This was my first time seeing Stephanie in anything, and she is incredible. That voice was unreal, but her comedy really did it for me. It was just, watching her was so invigorating. Yeah, I think that's the word I'm going to use. She's brilliant. She's brilliant. And Jordan was so good. His voice is so good. I want to see him in more comedies. Getting to see like a goofy, fun Jordan performance was so entertaining. It felt so special because obviously he can give such a tender, raw, like my favorite performance of his has been Hadestown. Watching him in Hadestown was life-changing, honestly. It was spiritual. It was crazy. But I think as a performer, Jordan has this talent of bringing a level of sincerity and honesty to any role. And that is what makes comedy next level. When you can play a silly role like that so earnestly, it makes the world of a difference. And I just loved that pairing. Jordan and Stephanie, I loved that pairing, and their voices were so good. It was such a fun show. Honestly, I really don't know that I have anything that insightful or interesting to say about Urinetown as a show. I'm so sorry if that's disappointing, because I know that there's some like Urinetown diehards out probably right here. It was a funny show. The set was actually really unique and interesting. I really liked the set. It's obvious commentary, which feels quite timely. Like, I enjoyed it. I'm not necessarily like running back to listen to the music or dive deeper into it. I don't really know why, I have to be honest, because I really enjoyed myself and again, enjoyed all the performances, and I thought it was funny. I cackled quite a few times at the show. Do I have any actual thoughts on Urinetown? Have I even thought about this? I mean, like, I've thought about the performances since seeing it because they were all great. It's so fun to learn that Rainn Wilson is a theater kid and has been a theater kid and like has such a love for musical theater. That was really fun. Yeah, I don't... Wow, some musical theater content creator I am. I love theater that's self-aware and like breaks the fourth wall. That's exciting. Yeah. And so then after seeing Urinetown, I was sick for the final 3 days of my trip. Ah, not a very exciting end, but I genuinely had such an incredible trip that I was like, this is fine. I'll let myself be sick for 3 days. I kind of hit the ground running when I got in. The weather, it was cold, it was rainy. I was like, of course I got sick. It's fine. New York, I love you. Broadway, I love you. Broadway shows, if you ever want to invite me to things, I will do what I can to be there. So please do that. Please subscribe to my channel. Do it, please, because a lot of you aren't subscribed. I can see that, in the analytics, I can see it. Oh, also, if you're like, where'd you get your shirt? Places, please, on Instagram. Theater Girlies, it's the merch you need. Okay, like it says Outsiders, Delight Greaser Garage. You get it. You get it. Tulsa, Oklahoma. But again, please subscribe because I'm so close to hitting 100K and I have my totally trendy 100K subscribers plaque, and it would be so cute to have one that says Samantha Fekete on it. So please subscribe. Get me there. We're close. We're close. Thank you so much for watching as always. Love you. Love you. Whoa. I wasn't planning on saying that, but it just kind of happened. I love you. Okay. Love you. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.